Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you the Royal Icing recipe. It's a solid recipe that's preferred for beginners, it tastes great, and it's easy to work with. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. To make the icing, you will need a 2-pound bag of powdered sugar, 6 tablespoons of meringue powder, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and 3/4 a cup of water. Start by mixing the vanilla extract and water together. You can use other flavors if you want, but I like the taste of vanilla. In a stand mixer bowl, combine the sugar powder and meringue powder and start mixing for about a minute. Make sure that you mix on low speed so it doesn't get everywhere. While your mixer is on low, pour in the mix of water and vanilla. The powdered sugar will slowly be incorporated and you will see it starts to come together. Once the sugar and the liquid have fully incorporated, turn your mixer up to medium or medium-high speed and mix for about 4 to 5 minutes. As the icing is mixing, it will start to add some volume, it will become fluffy, smooth, and it will turn to a bright white color. Once your icing is ready, in a clean bowl, set aside part of the icing and cover up the rest of the icing with a plastic wrap or wet towel. It is very important to cover the icing because it can dry very quickly. Now let's add color to the icing. When you start to add color, make sure that you add a little bit at a time, that way you can get the desired color. Important to remember that royal icing darkness as it dries. Whatever color you want on your cookie, you will want to mix it slightly lighter as it will darken as it dries. You can use gel food colors or powder colors. I prefer to work with gel colors. Another tip is to always make more of each color than you think you will need. Because royal icing darkness as it dries, it's very hard to match the color if you end up not having enough. The next step is to get the right consistency. I like to bring my icing to piping consistency. That way I can use the same bag of icing for the outline as well as the flattening of the entire cookie surface. If your icing is too runny, you can add more sugar powder to the mixture. To thin the icing, use a few drops of water or lemon juice. Just keep in mind that gel food coloring will also thin the icing a little bit. I like to use 20-second icing, which means that if you pull a spatula or spoon through the royal icing, it will take about 20 seconds for the line to disappear. You can use this consistency to outline the cookie, wait a few minutes, and then use the same mixture to float. It's fast and makes for easy cleanup. Transfer the icing to a piping bag and it's ready to work. Unused royal icing needs to be kept in an airtight container. That way it will keep for a couple of weeks covered at room temperature. Another thing to know about royal icing is that if you keep it for more than a few days, the water may start to separate from the icing. This doesn't mean you can use it, but you will want to give a good mix before you do. Now I want to take a minute and talk about piping bags. Here you have a few options. You can use tipless piping bags. Basically, what that means is that these bags do not require tips. You can just cut off the tip of the piping bag to start flattening or outlining your cookie. You can also use your tipless bag as an icing pot to use in a more traditional piping bag with a coupler and tip. When done, you just pull out the tipless bag and toss it, or you can insert a different color icing. This will leave you very little cleanup at the end. If for some reason you don't have piping bags or you don't want to spend money for a one-time project, you can use a Ziploc bags or make your own piping bag. To do that, you will need to cut a large triangle of parchment paper. First, you will need to fold the outer edge in towards the middle, rolling it on itself so the points are facing you. From here, take the second corner, wrap it around the cone so the 3 points are facing you. Next, you can push the corners past each other until you see the shape of a W. Now just fold the corners over and wrap it in to hold the shape of the cone. You also may use a stapler to hold it in place. I think I've explained the basic theory, so the next step will be to use your creativity to decorate the cookies and enjoy the process. If you're a beginner in decorating cookies, I would like to share a few tips with you. First, don't set your expectations high. It may seem like a very easy process, and it is if you're practicing a lot. Start basic and go from there. With each batch, you will improve. It may be a good idea to practice piping straight lines, curves, and corners on a piece of paper before you outline your first cookie. A major tip for getting neat lines when decorating cookies is the tip of your bag should not be touching the cookie. The tip should be slightly raised, and as you gently squeeze, the icing falls onto the cookie. Move your hand along to lead the icing, and it will fall whichever way you will pull it. Let the outline dry for at least a couple of minutes before filling it in. Use a toothpick to help the icing spread evenly and get rid of any bubbles. Let the cookie dry for a couple of hours before decorating them with details. And finally, the cookies will take 24 hours to fully dry, so do not try to stack or package them before that. I hope you like my video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll make sure to get back to you. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And also, I would love it if you can come and say hi on my social media. You can find the links in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.